What's up, everybody, and welcome to the War Eagle War Room. I'm Coleman Bonds, and with me today is
Baxter Dent.
Sir, and we are going to be talking Auburn football. Ole Miss is coming to Auburn. They're the number 10 ranked team in the nation. Auburn's number 18, and it's a pretty massive game in terms of just everything that's about to be happening this upcoming season in the SEC West specifically, with Auburn kind of controlling their own destiny if they win this game here. I guess my question to you, Baxter, would be what's some keys to the game? What do you think Auburn has to do to win this game?
First, we got to slow down Matt Corral. I think if you can keep him in the pocket and make him beat you with his arm, I think we've got a chance.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking as well. Like the defensive line, we're gonna have to get some pass rush this week. I know that that's been kind of a thing in the past. I just saw a few minutes ago that TD Moultrie is not going to be playing this week either, that he's expected back for the A&M game, but that he shouldn't be playing this week. So that's going to mean a lot more Eku Leota again. And he's been like really good so far. Where'd he come from?
I think he came from Northwestern.
Northwestern, yeah. Who came from?
Marcus Harris,
yeah,
I think.
That's right.
I'm expecting Colby Wooden to have a big game.
Yeah. Colby Wooden's been like on a tear this year. I think I heard, I'm going to mess up the stat, but he's like near the top in both, if not the top, in both pass rushing and like run stopping. Like if you mix them together, he's like the best all around in the SEC or some, I don't know. But it was a pretty cool stat about just how dominant he is. But so stopping Matt Corral, I think we both agree that that's pretty much going to be the
I'm pretty sure Papa will be back this week.
Yeah, that's from everything I've heard and stuff. I've heard that Papo should be on the return. And do you think, who do you want to like spy Matt Corral? Do you think that, because we're gonna have to do something. He got like over 200 yards rushing against Tennessee. So
I'm good with either him, with Papo or Zacoby.
Okay, yeah. I guess it really comes down to who you like in coverage better. Would you rather have Papo back there covering people, or would you rather have Zacoby? Wasn't Zacoby a safety when he committed to Auburn? Didn't he come here as a safety and was moved to linebacker? Or am I
maybe?
Because I'm pretty sure that he was a safety when he came, and then you just didn't hear anything from him until he started playing, and he's now that guy. He's beast. But
oh yeah,
what do you think about Chandler Wooten and how he stepped in for Popo while Popo was out?
We needed him back from last year, and we got him.
Yeah,
he's a good leader.
I've been real impressed with him. He stepped up big time in that absence, and so I just can't see us not using all three of those guys if Popo is in fact playing. I feel like that there will be packages and a bunch of them that have Chandler Wooten in it because he's played really good in Popo's absence. And I think that he's kind of stepped up as a leader. Speaking of stepping up, I think that two guys that are going to have to do a lot of stepping up this week are Zion Puckett and Smoke Monday. It's been horrendous. And
honestly, all defensive backs.
Yeah. I think McCrary has been pretty good. He had that bullcrap call against Georgia where there was nothing else that he could have done. And I just literally went up and defended like anybody would and got called for pass interference. But other than that, you haven't really heard his name be called much. And as a defensive back, that's what you want. You don't want to hear your name. So,
right.
I mean, but Zion Puckett, I've been very unpleased with him. Going back and watching like the different film and stuff of the games, one thing I've noticed that he's always too keyed in on his guy that he's having to cover. So against Georgia State, for example, he was so keyed in on like the guy that he was covering when they were busting those like billion-yard runs against us. They would run right by him, and he was just laser focused in on the guy that he was supposed to be covering, and it was a run play, and the ball literally goes right past him. I've also noticed that he comes out flat-footed in his stance, so the play snapped, and the receiver's already off on his break, and he's starting to like run whatever route he's running, and Puckett's just still standing there, like he's just frozen.
Yeah, I think another guy that'll have to step up is Nehemiah Pritchett.
Yeah, Lad McClunky or McCunky, whatever his name is,
Yeah.
toasted like multiple times. And I mean, that's not their primary receiver. He's good, don't get me wrong. I mean, he proved himself, but like Rodgers having to guard somebody else that's their primary guy, and then you want Pritchett to be able to handle anybody else, yet he's out there giving up about 150 to Lad McClunky at Georgia.
Right.
So besides stopping Matt Corral, which is going to be a difficult task, and you said that we need to stop his we need to hold him in the pocket, right?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
once he gets out, he's dangerous.
Yeah. And I think that's very true. Because if you let them start running with him and him having the arm that he has, you have to take away one of those things. And I think that if you're Auburn, you want to take away his running.
I'd rather take away his running.
Force him to throw and make him beat you with the throws. Because like we said, Pritchett needs to step up, but he can be good. I mean, he's at Auburn for a reason. He's an athlete.
Oh, right.
I think that our talent that's on par or right below the Georgias, Alabamas, and LSUs, even though they're terrible now, of this league, that talent needs to step up and play like it. It's week, like what is this, week 7, 8?
7 or 8.
Yeah. By this time in the season, I know that it's a new scheme and stuff with Derek Mason and stuff, and it's stuff that they weren't doing under Kevin Steele, but you really need to see – we need to see improvement. And I think that we've been getting a little bit of improvement from the secondary.
There's been some.
Yeah, but, I mean, to beat a team that has this offensive firepower that can literally do anything they want to against most teams, and they were doing it to Alabama for a while, and we're just getting stuffed on, like, fourth downs – we're going to have to play some really solid defense, especially in the secondary. And I think it starts, honestly, in the secondary in this game. Offensively, what do you think that we should do this game? Do you think it should be more run-focused, pass-focused, balanced, Bo Nix?
I think it'll be a lot of balanced.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that almost gives up 420 yards a game.
Yeah.
And 214 of that's on the ground.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be pretty balanced.
Who do you want to see, expect to see get the majority of the carries and snaps at running back?
I think Tank's not 100%.
Yeah.
And if he's 100% coming off the bye week, I think we need to feed Tank.
Yeah. If that's a big if though. If he's coming off the bye week 100%, then I mean he hasn't really gotten loose this year. He
hadn't had
honestly, the Akron
big explosive run.
I haven't been fully impressed with his running since the first game of the season against Akron when he busted a few. Alabama State, it was a little iffy. And you're seeing like shades of what he did last year. Like against Arkansas, he would get out and he would cut to the side and he'd be like being tripped up away from having like at least a 15, 20-yard gain, and then he'd only get 5 because he got tripped up. And it's those type plays that leave you wondering what percent is he at if he's not at 100. And Harson's a type guy that he's not going to ever say if a guy has an injury. And I think you kind of like that from your head man, that he's not just like tell all. But Carson said that he was fine a few weeks ago, and that was a few weeks ago. So if he was just fine then let's hope he's 100 now. What do you think about Shivers this week in his play time? So if we're going balanced, I know after the Georgia game, I'd never wanted to see Shivers catch another swing pass again because of all the drops and bobbles and just making it harder than it had to be. But I don't know. I think that you might need him in some of these pass catching situations. What do you think about?
He's an explosive runner.
Yeah.
So we'll need that.
Really looking to. I don't know if we've done the best job utilizing his speed this year to be 100%.
No, I don't think so.
And I guess that kind of comes with the scheme too. It's not as many zone sweeps and stuff, jet sweeps and like little weird gimmicky plays as we saw with Gus. But I think that you have to keep the defense honest. And so I think if that involves utilizing Shiver's speed, then I think that's something that we need to capitalize on.
I think there'll be a lot of play action this tomorrow too.
Yes, and that comes with establishing the run and being balanced.
Got to establish the run
Yes.
first.
If we can't establish the run, then that means that it's going to have to be Bo Nix magic again. And Bo's shown that he can do it, but he's also shown at other times that when you put it all on him, that sometimes it gets hard for them to handle it, especially when receivers are dropping the ball and stuff like that. I was real pleased against Arkansas. They were pulling down everything except for Landon King. One time he had one that he should have caught, but he didn't. But speaking of Landon King, he needs to be out there more. He's like big.
I think he's earning the time in practice, I think.
Okay, yeah, and Parsons.
From what I've seen, Harsin says they earned their play in practice.
Yeah, he said that about Shedrick, and that's kind of why guys like Canyon and stuff aren't playing apparently because practice. And so if he's earning it in practice, then put him on the field because he looks like a miniature Darren Waller, just tall, big, fast, can catch and can go. So I've been impressed with him so far. Wish he could have kept his feet after making that catch on that third down or whatever from Bo Nix against Arkansas.
Yeah.
Seeing what he can do in open space. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think we really have to be balanced this week. I like what Bo Nix has shown passing the ball lately. I think it's been his.
He's definitely improved under this offense.
Yeah, he's focused. He's having fun. This is the year. But I think that I want to see more shots. I want to see more shots like we threw to Demetrius and Javaris last game. I think that if we can make Ole Miss play on their heels, I think you can open up the run game with the pass because if we can go and we can establish a deep ball, it's a two-way street. If you can establish that deep ball, we didn't do it against Arkansas, then you can start running it down their throat. We did not do that against Arkansas, though. We kept throwing and it worked. But I don't know. I'm real excited for this game. Jordan Harris.
I think another person that'll have a big game is Demetrius Robinson.
Yeah.
We need him to have a big game. I just think he's becoming our number one receiver.
He's due one too. He's due one after they're starting to utilize him better, like you saw last week with the deep balls and stuff like that.
Especially with his speed.
Mm-hmm. And he hasn't been really the problem with drops. He's had a few here and there. It's mainly been Shedrick, but he had one against Penn State that I remember, and he had a few against Georgia that were big. But I've been really impressed with him so far, and I think that he is our best receiver. I'm not sure who the leader in the locker room and the receiver room is, but I would not be surprised if it was him by the way that Harsin targets him and utilizes him as kind of that number one guy. And I think that there's something to be said for Shedrick also, and the fact that he just continues to get out there on the field.
Another guy's Kobe Hudson.
Oh yeah, Kobe Hudson. I think that he's probably been like the most standout out of them all. I think that Demetrius and Shedrick, they've been the most just like steady leader locker room guys that are just going to be on the field because they're blocking and they've been there, done that, and you know what you're getting with them. And then I feel like that Kobe's kind of the guy that it's kind of like Emory Blake back in 2010. You knew that you could see what he was and what he was going to be, but you had Darvin Adams and Terrell Zachary ahead of him. But Emory Blake was there. He was young still, and he was on the come up, and you see him getting massive touchdowns against Bama, Oregon, and stuff like that. I think that Kobe Hudson, that in the years to come, he's going to be that guy, and he might end up being that guy this season. I mean, you've seen it in certain games where he was that guy. And really the only knock on him that you have this whole season is the start of the second half against Penn State, just dropping the ball literally out of his hand as running the trick play or whatever. But I guess who do you think's going to start at left tackle? We think that we're seeing Troxel or Killian Zaire?
I think it'll be Zaire.
I
think unless Troxel's healthy coming off the bye week.
Yeah.
What was his injury?
Let's say Troxel is healthy. Who starts? Because Zaire did not play bad against Arkansas.
No. What was Troxell's injury?
I think that
Was
I'm
it a
not.
knee, something?
It was something like he's had problems with his knee his whole career, and I think it was something like that. That's what I want to say. It was
I
it
think
was,
that's what it
it was
is.
something on his leg. It wasn't anything upper body. I
It was
think.
a lower body.
Yeah, but
If
and
Troxell's healthy, if Troxell's healthy, I think it's Troxell.
okay, okay,
Just with the experience that he has.
yeah. And Zaire only having really one game. And isn't Zaire a transfer? This is his first year here.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't. He came from a smaller school, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't remember where he came from.
But yeah, I was impressed with him though. I think that
Yeah,
he did hold his own against Arkansas, who, I mean, their defense is not bad. They didn't have Catalan, but
right.
other than that, we kind of just torched them, and I thought that was one of our most complete performances offensively, besides the run game in terms of just pass blocking and throwing the ball.
That was one of the offensive line's best game.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Bo wasn't running for his life. And that's really what you want to see. And I think that we can do a team like Ole Miss like that. I think that they have athletes, yeah, but I mean, at Auburn, I feel like there's a higher standard, and so
Definitely is.
the type guys that we get versus the type guys that they get. No knock on their players, but we should be able to outmatch them, and so it just comes down to who wants it more. And in some of the games this season, you've seen the other team wanting it more for most of the game or the whole game. And that was the case with like Georgia State and stuff. They were all over us and came out flat footed and it shot us in the butt, but we were able to come back in that game. Stat line for Bo Nix. What do you think? Over, under 220 yards?
I'd probably say over.
Okay, over. So I guess that being said, then how many rushing yards total do you think that we have with the running backs? What's the split? Is it 50-50 or are we looking?
I'm thinking 60-40.
60-40?
Maybe 65-35.
And that's
pass, yeah.
Yeah.
Pass, yeah.
I'm seeing that as well. I think, though, if we establish the run early, that I think that we will see more run than pass. That's only if it gets established early.
Yes. And Harsin said that before. He wants to establish the run first.
And yeah, he said that we
haven't been able to do that in a while.
Yeah, we don't go back to the run after it stops working when it's only the pass that's can get you back into a game, and running just is too draining and taking the clock away and hasn't been efficient enough. And so
I'll tell you, one guy that I've been impressed with the most is Shanker.
Shanker, he's awesome. We run like some little play where there's like out routes from other people and he's kind of right there and he just comes in and he like hooks down on like a 5-yard hitch. Bo to Shanker on like the 5 to 7 yard hitch. That's a tandem.
Yep.
Right? That's a package. I love it when
he dropped that touchdown against Georgia that he should have had, but
no. And you can argue that it was a bad throw from Nix, but where do you want him to put it? I mean,
he had one, maybe both hands on the ball.
Yeah, it was. If you get both hands on the ball, I don't care if you're stretching all the way out. If both hands are on the ball, even if it's a hard catch, you're in the SEC.
It's a ball you should have.
Yeah, and that blows the game open. Was that the same? I don't think that was the same drive. Was that the same? That was a field goal drive, wasn't it?
That the opening drive or the second drive?
That was the opening. Which one? Did we drop the touchdown and then get the pass interference on the same drive? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And I think that's a massive game changer right there. You get that, him pull that in, and then they call the pass interference on Capers on the slant.
Yeah, because the Shanker touchdown was first quarter.
Yeah.
And Capers was right before halftime.
Yep. And that's exactly that game is a whole different ball game. And
if they call that, we go into halftime down 3, I think it would have been.
And I mean,
I feel like we would have gotten a touchdown after that.
Oh yeah, if we had 4 more downs from like the 3, unless we're doing the weird Kobe back shoulder fade, then we're scoring. And so,
because it was like a minute left in the game or for half.
Yeah, I think that and that changes the whole game. And that's with Jordan Hare rocking. You come back out. I mean, that's
That
Georgia.
was
That's
one of the
the
loudest
situation that
games.
you want them in.
That was one of the loudest games in a while.
Do you think that tomorrow night's going to be louder, or
I think with it being a 6 o'clock game, it'll be rocking.
coming out in the orange face masks, maybe orange jerseys? I don't know.
Maybe jerseys.
Auburn Twitter against the Penn State for the Penn State matchup for the white helmets. They showed everything.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Pants
Today
and
they stopped at Today they only showed
Yeah.
gloves, cleats, and pants.
What was his gloves on? Because whatever his gloves like, I watched about like
I saw an orange in the back,
I know if it's
but
like
I
the
couldn't
side
tell
of
what
it,
he was putting it on.
if it was like on his like side right there or something. That was
I don't know what it
orange
was.
jersey.
Yeah,
Gonna throw it back to the late 70s if we pull out the orange jerseys. Historically, though, Auburn does not do well wearing new uniforms.
the last time we wore orange face masks, Bo Jackson was a running back, and we won 9-7.
Yes, 9-7 against who?
Michigan.
Yep, the 83.
And
We should have better. We should have. I think that I don't know. I always hear my dad talk about that season and like that the rankings were terrible that year or something. That Auburn
probably
should have been
usually are
like
kind of like
better,
04,
or maybe played for a national. Or there was some game. There was like one
kind of like
game
04.
something bad or something. But yep, 04. But all right, score.
I do want to take it back to the us on defense.
Okay.
I did see the Ole Miss is down their starting right guard, who's been a 4-year starter.
I did hear that. I do remember that now. And
So it could be good for Colby.
That could be very good for Colby. I think.
But the dude his backup is like a 17-game starter, so maybe not.
I mean, I feel like I heard that guy may have been their best offensive lineman as well. Now that you mentioned that,
Probably.
I think
he was on he had like a 40-game start streak that got snapped.
I wouldn't doubt that he's their best one then. If that means he's.
But I mean,
12,
he's
24,
3-4 year.
That's a 3-year
4-year starter.
Yeah, he was in his 4th year of starting. That guy's probably their best guy.
Everyone on their offensive line is 300 plus pounds, so
yeah,
it'll be tough.
I think that Leota and Derek Hall are going to have a big game because if Matt Corral does start scrambling and they're kind of playing contain, then they start. I think that you could see some sacks and stuff. I also do like the way Marcus Harris has played this year. I thought
he's come on strong.
He's been a dog down there in the trenches and stuff.
I think another guy that could have a big game is Tony Fair.
Tony Fair.
I haven't heard much about him in a while.
He's due one. He's out there. When he's out there, he's out there because of just how big he is.
Yeah.
But he's due a big game. All we heard all offseason was Tony Fair. And, I mean.
He's got great speed for his size.
Yeah.
That dude can move.
You think that we see Tony Fair coming off the sidelines late like Derek Brown?
Like Derek Brown.
The screen? That'd be awesome. Coming in full speed, just destroying somebody.
And Rogers got a big matchup against Drummond. He's their top receiver.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Roger will be on him.
Is this the guy that was out against Alabama?
Maybe.
There was a guy.
He's got 600 plus yards receiving.
Then that's their most yards. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He leads the team in receptions, yards, and touchdown.
Go figure. He's got Alabama game
6 touchdowns.
Their best receiver, Matt Corral's best weapons out against the Tide.
Yeah.
Yeah. But back for
and then another guy we got to stop is Jerrion Ely.
Jerrion Ely,
the leading rusher a couple years ago.
Snoop Connor, Jerrion Ely, Matt Corral. That's scary. Those guys are all NFL.
Oh,
maybe not the two running backs. Maybe kind of fighting NFL, or I think Ely is pretty.
I think Ely can be in the league.
Solid NFL, but Snoop Connor, I think he's kind of more fighting chance NFL. See him in the preseason, but yeah, I think that we're going to have to slow down their run game, no doubt. And I think they're going to try and establish a run game too, because they
Yeah,
Auburn's secondary is weak, and so if they show any amount of run,
they
then
can pull out the play action.
yep. A guy who I've always thought is really solid in our secondary that I'm not sure why he doesn't get time, and I like Pritchett, but he does, like you said, have to step up, is Jalen Simpson. I don't
He's been playing more.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed that. And he started a game last
He he was hurt to start the first couple of games. That's why he wasn't playing much to start the season.
Okay. Didn't he get hurt last year too? He started last year at one point.
He started. I think he started against Kentucky last year.
I think so. And he played
I know he played, and I think he started.
Did he have a pick maybe? I don't know what I'm remembering.
He had a nice 5-yard lost tackle. They tried to do a little screen play, and he blew it up.
I just remember him being a name that kept popping up on like the comments.
Yeah, he'll be game. I think now that he's becoming more healthy, we'll see him more.
I think that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but was he? No, I think that's Sheffield, who's now at MTSU. I was going to ask if he was like a wide receiver to start off with.
Simpson was defensive back when he came.
Okay, because Sheffield was a wide
receiver turned defensive back.
Now he's at MTSU.
Yeah.
Not doing anything either. But
no.
All right. What does Auburn have to do to win? Auburn wins if they do what? What does Auburn?
Establish the run.
Establish the run. Okay. I think I'm going to have to agree with
you. On the offensive side, and then slow down Corral on the defensive side.
I think that you got to keep Corral.
Which that's just a hard task with him. I think he's the Heisman front runner.
I'd say so as well. I mean, who else is even really a candidate? Bryce Young, but
Bijan, Robinson from the Texas running back?
Yeah, Bijan. And I guess Desmond. I don't know why Desmond Ritter's not getting a lot of talk for the Heisman.
He needs to get more talk, I think.
He's led since they've beaten actual teams this year. They beat Indiana and Notre Dame. I think that he deserves.
I think another guy that could be thrown in there is Davis from Georgia.
Yeah, I saw something today about that where he himself said that they should just somebody said that they should just throw.
He doesn't win it. They just get rid of the Heisman because it's becoming a quarterback award now.
It is, but at the same time, really, besides Bijan Robinson, then who else? I guess you could say, what's the guy from Michigan State's name? Running back, Kenneth Walker.
Yeah,
maybe him. But honestly, it's kind of a weird year for the Heisman, and like all the favorites, Ugielagule, whatever his name is, Sam Howell, and Spencer Rattler, all of it was terrible. I mean, Sam Howell.
You've got decent. Sam. He's pretty decent. And then you've got Pitt's quarterback in the conversation.
Yeah, they almost lost to Tennessee though. They beat them.
Yeah,
but Tennessee's been weird this year. They started off like
they're weird every year.
They always like seem to come around and randomly be good, but also they're terrible at the same time. And Ole Miss could potentially had another loss had Hendon Hooker not gotten hurt against Tennessee. And I think that you at least see a throw to the end zone on the last play if Hendon Hooker's in. Joe Milton just ran out of bounds. But school predictions for this game.
It definitely high scoring.
Definitely high scoring. Auburn's only won in the SEC. Only scored 30 once in the SEC this year, and that was.
I think it'll be twice this weekend.
Twice? Okay.
I'm thinking a 35-31 game.
35-31. Okay, I like that. Where do the touchdowns come from?
I think Bo throws one to Demetrius.
Okay.
I think he runs one in, and I think Tank and Jarquez Hunter both have one.
Okay.
And then maybe we see a defensive touchdown.
We
need to be +1 in the turnover margin.
You're right.
And we need a defensive score.
Hey, Smoke Monday, there's one thing that he's been really good for his whole career. That's making massive like interceptions for
I mean,
touchdowns.
he did have the pick six this game last year, 100
Yep.
yard pick six.
Yep. So I don't know. I've been very critical of Smoke, but let's see if he can't hopefully get another maybe get like a field goal block or something like that. Nehemiah Pritchett scored one earlier. Our special teams has been really good in terms of blocking the stuff this
I
year.
think we'll win the kicker battle.
Oh yeah.
Anders
Yeah.
Anders should win that one.
Anders, he's been lights out.
Just about automatic.
Yep. Just like his brother. Uh I guess for me, the score prediction, it said 35-31. I'm thinking, this is a tough, I wasn't even prepared for my own question. I could, I want to say 37. I want to say 37. I think we get to like 31, and I think that Ole Miss is just like quick strike ability. We put up 37. I think we beat them 37-28. I think that it might be tied 28-28, something like that. And then
It'll be close. It'll be a one possession game going into the fourth.
mm-hmm. I think that we'll see probably like a 28-28 tie, something like that. And then you get Anders coming out there and he hits 3 field goals, maybe in that fourth quarter, and solidifies an Auburn win, go up 31-28, get a stop. He goes and hits another. I think the fans will all be mad that we're kicking the second field goal to only go up 34-28, because that's a typical Auburn thing to do, is not score but get really close and then kick a field goal and make it a game still. But then I think we go and get another field goal, kind of ice the game out with maybe like 3-4 minutes left.
Yeah, it'll be high scoring for sure.
All right. So last thing we're going to talk about here is, I guess, positional grades and coaching grades for what we saw this past season, kind of at the midway point, or not this past season, at the midway point of this season. I think that I like what I've seen across the board, but let's do, I guess, positional grades first. How would you grade the quarterback group this point this season? Do we want to use a 99, a 0 to 99 scale, or do we want to go 1 to 10, or letter grades? How do we want to
Probably
scale?
let's just do letter grades.
Letter grades. All right.
I'll probably give the quarterbacks a B.
B. Okay.
I like what I've seen from Bo. And then when TJ came in against Georgia State and changed the momentum, that was good. And then he's had a couple bad overthrows or not even close to the route throws.
Yeah.
And then we all know Bo's LSU game. That was the A+ performance.
It was, if I've ever seen one. Bo Manziel.
That was crazy. So I'd probably give him a B, maybe B+.
Okay. Yeah. I think that I'm gonna roll B+ just because of these like past few weeks of Bo Nix, seeing him really step up and kind of mature in the offense and be the guy that we thought he was going to be maybe a little bit last year and some of the earlier games this year.
And I mean, the LSU game, everybody was going crazy about it, but that's what he did in high school.
Yeah.
Like, just watching his highlights from high school all the time.
It was
that's
just
what he did in high school. Yeah.
Being focused and having fun. But
yeah.
I think people are forgetting. I know it was Akron, but he was like 21 of 23 that game for like 200
He started
downs.
Was it 7 for 7, 8 for 8?
Yeah. I think he started like 8 for 8. And then he threw one that could have maybe been caught, but was kind of would have been a difficult catch for Capers. It was like a little bit out in front of him on like a flag or something. But everybody after that game was like, this is the year. And we saw a lot of that then. And then Alabama State, it wasn't anything to write home about, but I mean, he still got it done. He did what he had.
It took a little bit just with it being the 11 o'clock kickoff. Nobody ever gets off to a fast start unless it's Georgia, Arkansas. But
yeah, I think that he wasn't even okay. This is going to sound, I don't know, but against Georgia State, he wasn't terrible.
No,
Everybody,
I don't think he was not the problem.
the narrative from the media, which is a lot of people that didn't watch the whole game and only heard that he was benched, acting
Right.
like Bo Nix, and the media narrative of Bo Nix has always been the worst thing in the world. Like Bo picked,
Yeah.
he was at one point fifth all time in SEC history for most passes without an interception. Like,
Yeah, and boy, he broke the record. He broke his own record this year until the pick against Georgia,
yeah,
where Shivers didn't catch it.
that was completely on Shivers. The argument that he threw the ball too hard is the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
He
Again,
lobs it. He's Shivers doesn't even get the ball.
yeah, and it was he had pressure in his face, and
That's just how that play goes.
you're just trying to get the first down. You're like we talked about earlier. Shivers is a 4-star athlete from Florida. He needs to we're picking up somebody that should make that catch. I think I could have made the catch, but.
And going back to the Georgia State game, I think Bo was not the problem, and Harsin didn't straight up say it after the game, but he came out and said, "We tried everything we could. We changed offensive line. We changed running back. We changed receivers. The last resort was changing the quarterback."
I noticed that too. He said,
we needed a momentum change. Georgia State just wasn't quite ready for it.
And so they brought in Finley, and I was fine with that.
Yeah.
I was fine with that. I never thought that I did after he scored the touchdown to win. I knew there was going to be controversy and stuff, but I always thought that Bo was going to be the quarterback that came out first.
He's the better quarterback.
Especially with that. Now, if the LSU game hadn't been next and it had been a different team, I think that Finley may have came out and started. I think that they didn't want Finley starting that LSU game just because of all the emotions and stuff of him and maybe trying to play hero ball coming off a 98-yard drive and now going back to the place that he just left and his home and stuff. And I think that played a role in that. But I was a firm believer that Bo was going to come out and start that game.
And we saw both of them, so
yeah,
they both got to play.
I think that was scripted because Bo did fine.
It was Harsin or Bo, one of them said that it was the plan.
Yeah, the plan all along was to do that. And so I think it worked fine. And honestly, I liked what I saw from Finley that drive. He didn't play bad.
But it wasn't his greatest performance.
And it wasn't enough to not bring Bo in again. And I think that you could have potentially seen, I think from that point, that if Bo had maybe not done great or whatever, that you may have seen Finley come in again. But I think that it would have been interchanging because I'm not sold on Finley's game. And so,
I'm not either. I have not been impressed with him.
It was just he wasn't bad against LSU, but he wasn't great. But all that being said, I give them a B+.
Yeah,
because I like the way that since that benching, Bo Nix has responded.
That's just the natural competitor in him.
Yes, he is one of the best competitors, and he's an Auburn guy through and through. I mean, he grew up just like me or you, like going to the Auburn games and listening to Auburn sports radio and stuff like that, and keeping up with the stats and stuff. And so, I mean, he's a real Auburn guy, and that's what you love out of your quarterback, him to be about where he's at. And I think Bo is about where he's at. So I give him a B+. I thought he really performed well against Arkansas. I'm hoping it continues. Not putting too much pressure on him, but this is probably the biggest game of the season for him to this point. You could say that arguably every week, but this really is like a momentum shifting type game where we really find out who we are.
Especially now that we control our own destiny going into the last month of the season.
And you can make the argument that Arkansas was also the biggest game of the season because if we lose that, then we're likely going to lose to everyone else. But I think that if you win this, then you're saying, especially like depending on how we win it, then you're asking like, okay, how good is this team and what could this team really be? And keep in mind that so far we're already asking all these questions, and the run game, which I think should be the best part of our offense, hasn't been the best part of our offense. And so that's promising. So speaking of the run game, running back grades, what do we think about running backs?
I'd give them probably a B as well. I think
it's fair.
What Hunter probably gets it A plus.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely come on strong.
Yeah.
But then with Tank not being as healthy and not being as productive, and then
Yeah.
Shiver's not doing much, I think that balances out to be the B.
Balances out to B for B. I can agree with that. I think for me, I'm gonna say B as well. Like you said, I think that Hunter is an A plus. I think that Hunter's been one of, if not the only bright spot on the run game this year. And that's no knock against Tank, because I know Tank still is that guy, but Tank hasn't been what we think he is, but he hasn't been to this point. And whether that's been the opportunities that has been shown or the like being nicked up, like we talked about, I think that all that's contributing into really just his overall performance. And I'd give him a B minus so far this year. And
I'm excited for next year's running back room.
Yeah,
Tank, Hunter, and Damari Alston coming in.
Damari Alston, that guy, and he's
a great recruiter.
So I've also heard that Holden Griner is really coming on and down in Georgia. Is he in Georgia? He's from Georgia, isn't he?
I think so.
I've heard a lot of good things about him recently as well. So you're looking scary there with having Demetrius Davis, Holden Griner, and then at running back having Jarquez and Tank and Damari Alston. Shivers is a senior, am I right?
Yeah, but he's got the one extra COVID year as well.
Yeah.
But I think.
Do you think he made? I think Shivers loves Auburn, but I think if opportunity came knocking, that you could see him go to like one of these smaller schools, kind of in this area or something like and transfer.
But graduate transfer, maybe.
Yeah. And remember, I think Shivers could start honestly just about anywhere.
Yeah.
He's really good, but it's just a matter of his size and a team willing to take on all that his size and stuff. And so, and I don't want him to transfer. I think that he adds another dimension to offense that's really good. But if Damari Alston comes in and is like a Jarquez 2.0 and just kind of takes over, then that makes 3 running backs. And so then you're not really going to want to put a fourth in. And if you have 3 that are popping off, then a fourth, that usually means that they're out the door. But I give them a B minus. I give them a B this year. Tank a B minus. Shivers a B minus as well. To maybe a C plus. I haven't been impressed with his receiving. Yeah. I don't think that his opportunities have been that good. But I guess now the next position group, wide receivers. Your thoughts on them and what's their grade to this point?
I'll give them a C.
C.
Since the Georgia State game and with the new coach coming in, they've definitely improved.
Yeah.
Has not been as many drop passes.
Yeah.
There's been a couple, but
like Eric Keesaw.
Something like that. He came from he came from Boise too? Or?
He came from Boise State.
No, he was at Washington at one point.
He was but he was with Harsin at Boise State. He was there, I want to say maybe offensive coordinator. Or maybe was he the quarterbacks coach or their offensive coordinator?
Probably both.
Okay.
Maybe.
I don't know, but I have noticed a decrease in drops since Cornelius left, and I think that Cornelius did fine, but I think that it's another one of those things where Harsin really just wanted his guy, and is his guy.
No knock against Troy, but Troy receivers are not the same as Auburn receivers,
and they're not
great program over there at Troy.
And they're not playing the same defenses that the Auburn receivers are playing. And so I think that that's kind of been what we see. I'd give them a C plus as well. I think that you've seen improvements and strides without the improvements and strides over the past like I guess the
3 or 4
Arkansas game.
weeks.
Yeah, and
Well, the LSU the
they
LSU
played good
game
against
the
LSU.
first his first game was they I noticed they were coming back to the ball to catch
Yeah,
the ball. They weren't doing that the previous weeks.
I
But
liked.
then we had all our drops against Georgia.
Yeah, and that was a big. That was kind of that tanked their grade the most, in my opinion. But the LSU game and the Arkansas game and those Akrons and Alabama States and stuff, that gives it up to a C plus for me. Without those games though, and if just what you'd seen and against Penn State, Georgia, and against Georgia, their records, their grade for me is like a D.
Georgia,
they
I
had
don't
six
know.
drops according to something. I
Was it
watched them
six?
drop it like
I
12
think
times.
it was. I think it was more the 8 to 12 range.
Yeah, the official stat was six, but like by Pro Football Focus or something. But another site had him at like nine, and then like Auburn's announcers or something, they said like 12. And I went through and counted like 15, but I'm probably a little bit more generous to Bo when I'm counting drops. But
Yeah,
tight ends,
A
I
plus.
I give them that
Shanker
rank.
and Prom, Luke Dill, Landon King, they're all great.
Yeah, I've been really impressed. Who's the guy that got in towards the end of the season? He had maybe like 2 or 3 catches against Mississippi State last year. White guy, big guy.
Luke Dill.
No,
It's either Luke Dill or Tyler Fromm.
it's another one.
Oh, Brandon Frazier.
Brandon Frazier.
We need to use him in the red zone more. He's 6'7".
Yeah, where's he been?
I don't know if I've seen him on the field. Oh, another guy, Pegues. He's been playing tight end a little bit recently.
I did hear that he had been actually like dual moved, like he's playing defense, but he's also working. I wonder if that means like, could you see him do something against Ole Miss, maybe being from Mississippi?
Throwing back there in the Wildcat like we did with Gus a couple of times.
The Pegues package, the old Chandler Cox cat, but yeah, I'd give them an A plus. I've been really impressed with them so far. The Landon King drop and the Shanker drop, those were pretty big plays. I guess ultimately the Landon King drop against Arkansas didn't really end up mattering that much, but
yeah,
the drop against Georgia, I think that was a momentum shifter, and only getting a field goal that drive really kind of killed some of our momentum from that first drive. All right. I guess O-line as a whole, because it's kind of hard to individually grade those positions.
Yeah.
But
probably give them a C plus.
Yeah.
They haven't been that great, but they're not as bad as they were last year.
No, I think that's fair.
I mean, they're not doing much. They're not giving Tank much room to run.
They're not.
But they're protecting Bo fairly well.
Do you think Tank had more room to run last year, he just?
It seems like it.
It seems
like he was doing more. It also seems
like he was
but
like
that could have been.
It could have been just Tank not being injured and stuff.
That, or it could have just been the way Gus's offense was designed.
Yeah, it may have fit him better, but I'm going to say C because of that, and the fact that you would have seen a lot more sacks and a lot worse stats if Bo Nix hadn't been Bo Nix.
Right.
And even TJ Finley's game winner, like it was all.
He was pressure in his face. He threw that off his back foot.
Yeah, I was shocked that he was able to. I mean, I shouldn't have been, because against Auburn, Finley is like only good plays against Auburn were plays like that where he was getting like rocked but getting it off. But
yeah, and I was sitting right behind in the back of the end zone on that catch, and it kind of looked like he was about to overthrow him. But was it Kobe that went up and got it?
No, it was Shedrick.
Shedrick got the touchdown, and Kobe that got the 2-point, I think.
Yeah, I think Kobe got the 2-pointer. All right, I guess defensive line.
Honestly, I'd probably give him a B plus, maybe A minus.
Yeah, they haven't been bad.
We've been pretty good about getting the pressure. Now we're not as good as we were Derek Brown, Marlon Davidson,
Understand.
Nick Coe, and all them,
Yeah.
but they're doing pretty good with the experience that they have.
Better than Big Cat ever did.
Yeah.
Leota is an upgrade in my opinion, but
And then Derek Hall is doing pretty good.
Eric Hall is an absolute beast.
Our edge rushers are
What
pretty good.
year is Derek Hall?
He came in with Bo.
Okay, so that makes
him
junior. And if I feel like if he went out now, I don't know why he wouldn't be third round up
Yeah, I could see him being a third, maybe fourth round.
at this point. So you think that we keep him another year?
I think he'd come back, yeah.
I'd hope he'd come back. And Colby is a year older. Is this his senior year?
No, I think he might be in the same class. I think he's in the same class.
Actually, wait a minute. No, he was redshirted one of the years. I think he's a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, he might have got redshirted his freshman year.
Yeah, because we only started hearing him last year, and so this is his second year of him actually playing.
Yeah.
But that would mean he's eligible to go too then, as a redshirt.
Yeah, but I don't think he will.
Let's hope not. If we could bring back both Derek and Colby, wouldn't that mean gracious?
Papo's a junior, so we got to hope to bring him back.
Yeah, where do you think he would go? I feel like that he's already like third.
Right now, he'd be probably third round pick.
Third round guy.
I think Roger. I think Roger's a first round lock.
Yeah. Do you think that
maybe early second?
Or was he the same?
He came back this year. He could have left, but he came back.
And I think last year he would have been like a third.
Or did he come back for his COVID year?
He didn't come back for his COVID year. He was either Bo Nix class or year before Bo Nix.
I think it was
I don't remember anybody from that class. Who was in that class?
Which class? Bo's class?
Year before Bo.
I don't remember that one. I remember Bo's class, but I don't remember.
Roger was in the year before Bo, I believe. I think Roger's a normal senior.
I think so.
I can't think of any. I guess Jacoby would have been a normal senior. Is a normal senior.
Jacoby's a senior. Yeah, Jacoby's a senior.
So that he would have came in that same class as what's his name, and I think Puckett's a senior.
I think so.
I think Smoke a senior.
Smoke's a senior.
Yeah,
he's either senior.
Sherwood was in that. I think that was the Sherwood class. I think that was Sherwood, Smoke.
Yeah, Sherwood left early.
Yeah, I think that was Sherwood, Smoke, because I remember we got tons of guys in the secondary that year, and I think Zion, Puckett, McCrary, and I think Jacoby McLean was a safety.
I think so.
And that's why you didn't really hear of him till last year when he finally was moved to like linebacker and actually got playing time. And he may have been a linebacker.
Well, he played the year before because he had the 100-yard pick six.
Yeah, but was he a linebacker in that game?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That linebacker? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm remembering him coming as a safety though, but I'm like pretty sure that he came as a safety. I guess that would mean let's talk about the linebacking group now. Grades on the linebackers this year.
I give them an A plus.
Yeah. Now
they lived up to their expectations.
Your grades for the defensive backs this year. Yeah.
I'd give them a C minus.
C minus.
Just with the blown coverages.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, there's at least 5 plays a game where the dude's wide open.
Yeah.
There was that 70-yard touchdown Georgia had.
Yeah.
I don't remember who was defending that one.
I think it was McClunky over the top.
But no, who was the defensive back? Was it Pritchett?
Nehemiah Pritchett. Literally just
he wasn't within 5 yards of him.
Yeah, I know. He literally got
Penn State was awful.
Beat.
Penn State was awful.
Yes, terrible.
Penn State, there was 3 plays in a row on a drive where it was wide open.
They did do something once. My high school ran it one time. It's where the tight end lines up at left tackle, and they have
sneaks out the back.
Yes, and you have to do a certain thing substitution wise where you still have to have 5 actual linemen. And so they brought the other offensive lineman is then lined up at tight end on like the other side. You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so it made it where it looked like that they had their 5 linemen were those guys, but in reality, the 5th lineman was the tight end over here, and the tight end was eligible. The left
gotcha.
tackle is eligible because it was the tight end in this formation. I don't remember what you have to do, but I remember the week that we ran it at my high school, our coaches in practice, we talked about it all week about what we needed to go into the ref and say for that to happen or whatever. But it scored a touchdown in our high school game, and then it got really close to scoring a touchdown. If it may have,
I think it did.
it was across the middle, like the 25-yard one or something. But Penn State's tight ends absolutely ate us alive, and the secondary
Yeah.
was not communicating well at all that game from just the looks of it, and from kind of even like what they've said after the game, you can kind of tell that their communications were the biggest problem because they were talking about having to play fast, and right now they're still like learning and stuff, and they are not able to play as fast as they want and things like that. Um, like we said earlier, I think that we need to clean up everything. It's week 7 or 8 or whatever week it is, and
I think it's 8 because are we 4-2? Just came off the bye
yeah,
week,
yeah,
so
I
that'd
think
be week 8.
so. In week 8, you got this is the time of the year, whether you're in a new system or not, where you've been running it all spring, summer, and 6 games in now, and 7 if you count the week of practice in there. I think it's time that the secondary puts together a complete performance. And
I think they will.
what better game to do it than against the current Heisman favorite, in my opinion?
Yeah, I think he is too.
Uh, I give the secondary, I give them a C minus as well. It's our safeties. I've not the safeties as I'd give them.
There's Smoke, and who's the other one?
Uh,
Is it Knighton?
it's been Zion Puckett. It's been a mixture of like Puckett. Puckett's out there in weird situations, but also out there like most of the time. And then randomly you'll have like Kaufman come in and Bidarius Knighton will be in there. But I'm not sure like what the rotation is. I just know that every single time
Knighton had the game sealing interception against LSU.
I like Knighton's game.
Is he a freshman or is he a transfer?
He is a transfer, but a freshman, I want to say. I think he's
Where
like
did he come from?
Small school, I believe. I could be kind of wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. I don't know the school, but I believe it was a really small school, and he's a redshirt freshman, maybe. But I wouldn't quote me, even though I think I'm right, but I might be wrong. Kaufman's from Vanderbilt. I've liked what I've seen from him.
He came with Mason, yeah.
Yeah. You would hope that would mean that he would be able to kind of like help the other guys a little bit more than
one dude I wonder where he is Dre Miller that came from West Virginia.
Oh yeah. I remember yes.
He hadn't played at all, I don't think.
We were supposed he was
one of the best corners in the league last year.
In preseason, all you heard about was them projecting him to possibly start along with all the other guys and stuff. And I haven't seen him at all.
I haven't heard his name at all.
And yeah, I completely forgot about him until you just mentioned him now. I've already said what I said about Jalen Simpson. I hope he starts getting more time. No knock against Neil.
I think now that he's healthy, you'll see him more.
Yeah, no knock against.
I remember he missed his first game was Georgia State, I think.
And then he came into a game and he ran off the field whenever he was in. He was in and was that the Akron game? Did he?
He didn't play. Maybe, yeah. He played Akron, got hurt, and then missed the next couple games.
I was at that game, and I remember him running off the field during one of the plays. But, yeah, it's really Smoke and Puckett that are like just downing these ratings for me. And Pritchett's not been great by any means, but I think he's played around a C this year. But the other two, they're D's for me. Puckett and Smoke. Smoke, I'd give a D plus because he still has made some plays here and there, but just no knock on Puckett, but every single time I watch, if I look up and it's a 7, 8 to 20-yard play, I'm immediately looking for number 10, and usually he's right there.
Well, that's like last year. It would always be Christian Tutt.
Yeah, I was about to say he's the most Christian Tutt type player I've ever seen, and no knock against Christian Tutt, but I'm glad he's not here anymore.
Never been more glad for a player to leave. I don't even know where the man is anymore. I remember he went to the draft, and all the Auburn fans were like, "Yeah, you're not getting drafted."
Gosh, that was one of the worst decisions of a player I've ever seen. But I
think his best play might have been the fumble recovery against LSU last year.
Or he did have that long, I think it may have been against Ole Miss, that he had like that pick six where it wasn't a pick six. He got like a 60, 40 something yard return on it. He like started on this side of the field and like slowed.
Oh, yeah. I remember that one.
Just Christian Tutt was always like 6 yards behind somebody. And if the ball was in the air, you knew where it was being thrown. Like if you were watching on TV, you knew what receiver it was going to, and it was whoever was lined up on Christian Tutt was lined up on. All right, so special teams.
A.
Anders
is great. Yeah. Chapman's doing good. Got his punts are doing good. Kicks him high.
Yeah.
Which gives us enough time, high and long, which gives us enough time to
get
down there.
The rush on those. And
then Kalen Newton blocking the punt a couple weeks ago.
Yep. I called that one. Goal, getting the field goal block for a touchdown against Alabama State.
Was it a touch? Yeah, it was a touchdown. Yeah, that saved the shutout that game.
Yeah. Trying to think on
Keaches Robinson's punt return.
Yeah. Who's
they hadn't done much.
Return? Is it Tank or is it Shivers?
Hunter is back there, I think. It's either Shivers or Hunter. And there's a receiver, but I don't remember which one. Maybe defensive back. I don't remember the other person.
I don't either. Trying to think. I don't know, but I think
Shedrick maybe?
Maybe so. I think so, probably. He has sure hands, but I don't know. Any last thoughts before we wrap this up of the first week of the War Eagle War Room?
This is non-football related. We've got the orange and blue basketball scrimmage tonight.
Yes, after
with the dunk contest. Who you got winning the dunk contest?
Bounce man himself, Devon Cambridge.
Easily.
Devon Cambridge. So he's from up here. He's from up in Lebanon, Tennessee, which is about like 45 minutes from where I live. And I play tons of pickup basketball with tons of people. And so there's this church called like Community Church. It's in Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is about like 30 minutes from where I live. And I had been going up there. I'd gone like the day before, and I'd gone like all that week and all like last week, and just gone up there and hooped for like 5 hours or so with like all these guys that are like small college to were good in high school. Like it's legitimate hoop sessions and stuff. And Cambridge, this is over the summer, so Cambridge is back home and stuff. Cambridge, I decided that day, I was literally driving and was like, I'm not going to go today. Come to find out, Cambridge is in there playing basketball that day. I see it on like people's stories, like, oh, we're hooping with an Auburn player. I was like, are you kidding me? One day I decide not to go. He's there. So I get on Instagram and I message him to see if he was going to be up there the next day. And this was a Thursday that he was at the game at the gym. And so the Friday, so I asked him if he's going to be there on that Friday. He says, yeah, if there's people. I was like, I can get people out there because I know a bunch of people that I can get up there to play. And so he puts on his story to slide up for a hoop session or something. And so I've like been messaging him. It turns out the gym is closed that day. I don't know why it would have been closed on a Friday out of like
a Friday.
Yes. It's
It's
a
like when it
church.
should be open.
Yeah, it's a church, but I could have sworn that their hours were like 8 to 5 every weekday. But it was closed on the Friday, and I felt so bad because I had to like, hey, bro, actually, it's
Church is
he
closed.
just put it all on his story and everything. And I was like, dang, I just
I think
really,
I do remember seeing that.
yep, you probably do. He was mad. He wasn't mad, but he found somewhere else to play that day. But dang, I just know I felt like I blew it because I missed the chance to play with him the day before, and then I actually was in communications with him and led him astray the very next day. But yeah, that was
I mean, I'd gone to the tip. I was a tip off of Tumors,
yeah, that
and
looked
they
awesome.
he wanted to do the dunk contest so bad.
I think
They said no dunk contest. It was too slippery,
I
and
think
he's like he wanted to do it so bad. He knew he was gonna win.
they were supposed. That's what I thought they were supposed to do it then, but
Yeah, but it was
I
just
didn't hear
the
anything about any of dunks or
yeah,
anything. So I was like, okay, maybe they didn't do it.
it
Uh,
was too slippery. Like the was the dew or whatever
yeah,
condensation was on the court.
condensation. Yeah. Who do you think wins it?
Devin easily.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if your nickname's Bounce Man, that's like,
Yeah, he gives me Malik Dunbar type vibes.
oh gosh, Malik was such a beast, such a beast. All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up for the first edition of the War Eagle War Room. Catch us next week. Next Friday, we're gonna be probably previewing the Texas A&M game and talking about what we saw this past week. And War Eagle.
Where you go?